The Into the Light films started as a story and became an exploration of the spook light phenomena. In 2017, we started this quest to explore sightings from 3 locations. Although we gathered good information and captured amazing evidence, there were questions that remained. 2019 brought us back with a drive to find answers to some of our remaining questions. Things took a wild turn, and a new theory was born. Now, almost 5 years later, we're back, and there's unfinished business.
Many of you have consistently asked if we would ever do this.
Well, the time is now.
And this time,
And this time, we are not alone.
we have company.
What is up, everybody? Good evening. Jumping on here to do a little live watch party, I guess you can call it. What is up, Mars Panda? Tonight, we are going to be watching one of the Haunting History episodes from Carpenters Mortuary. It's the first time we'd ever been there. I talked to some people about it before, but this episode turned out a lot better than I thought it would. And in fact, we made 2 parts to it. Tonight we're watching the first part. I think tomorrow night we'll be watching the second part. Well, no, I've got my podcast. No, we can watch the second part tomorrow. What the hell am I saying? We can watch the other one a little early. But tonight we're watching part 1. I'll be in the chat watching with you guys. So if you have any questions about the episode or about the paranormal or about filming or life in general, you guys are more than welcome to throw them in the comments. That video you just saw, that is a video that I threw together. The quality is crap because I'm using StreamYard and they only do 720p. That's for the Kickstarter for the new Into the Light 3 movie that we want to do, and we're just calling it Spook Lights. If you don't know what that is, you can go on to the Haunting History YouTube channel and just do a search for Into the Light on my channel there, and you'll find the Into the Light 1 movie and Into the Light 2. And you can watch those for free. Josh and I are planning on doing a watch party sometime this week with Into the Light 1, and then probably the week after that, we'll probably do Into the Light 2. So you guys can watch us and watch the films with us and ask us questions about the film and everything. But the reason we're doing these watch parties is we are promoting the Kickstarter. So guys, if you want to see a part 2 or part 3, I'm sorry, it's going to be amazing. You just got to go to the Kickstarter, show some love, show some support. And you can share it out if you'd like, even if that's all you can do. We greatly appreciate it. Real quick, the Into the Light 3, we do have some other people that we want to get involved. Katie Stafford from Ghost of Devil's Perch and Ghost of Morgan City. Bart Towler and Dan Williams from the Paranormal Research Institute. And Jason Kupsik from the Ectoplasma Show. But those guys, we've got some great experiments planned. And we do intend to go back to some of our favorite locations, or at least a couple of them, and run these experiments. And we're going to be encompassing everything paranormal. Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, all that. So science. Yeah. Hope you guys are having a good night. I'm pretty jacked up for this. I see we got a few people on here, so we can get started on this. Again, this is Carpenters Mortuary. I'll let the video explain the history of it because that's what the first part of it is. And yeah, Gentry, Arkansas. Small town. weird past. So let's just dive into the episode. Again, if you have comments or questions, you throw them in the chat there, and I'll try to answer them. I'll try to switch between Facebook and StreamYard too, but I don't know like if that's going to make the video wonky or not. So we'll see. All right, without further ado, if you have headphones, I'm going to suggest using them during the investigation. That's it. We'll full screen this too.
My name's Charlie Bookout. I'm with Mortuary Studios. We're a group of artists here in downtown Gentry, big city. And part of the stuff that we do is a haunted attraction called Carpenters Mortuary Spook House. We came across the building in 1990. My friends and I had just graduated high school, and we were kind of getting a band together, and so we needed a place to rehearse and put all of our guitars and recording gear and stuff. So we were walking down the alley and saw the word mortuary up in concrete above a door, and said that would be absolutely perfect. So did some digging and found out who the owner of the building was, and asked if we could rent it, and we've kind of been here ever since. We had to clean a bunch of junk out, but we just kind of developed it into an art studio. We do all kind of stuff here, and that's kind of how it ended up evolving into a haunted house. So the Carpenter family, to go back all that way, arrived in what would become Gentry. It wasn't even known as Gentry at the time. In the late 1890s, the old man was I.W. Carpenter, the original kind of patriarch of the family. He immediately set about creating several different retail spaces around the area, selling the kinds of things that you would expect to buy in the 1890s, ice and horse feed and stuff like that. In the late 1890s, they eventually settled on a property that was on this exact corner of Rust and Main, and it was a wooden structure. And he had two sons, Ray and Roy, and Ray was a mortician, which wasn't totally uncommon back then, to have a retail space where you also embalmed bodies, but that's what this was. The brothers, Ray and Roy, took over the business, and finally it dissolved in the late 1920s. And Ray decided to keep it, but in doing so, he announced that he was going to demolish the old building and have a new one built, and have a pretty locally prominent architect design it. A.O. Clark was his name. And so there was just no expense spared. It was known throughout the whole area that it was the best and the largest retail establishment in the whole county. And this A.O. Clark is the same architect that's responsible for county courthouses and big churches and all kind of stuff that's around. And so oddly, Ray, after having built this building, only lived for an additional 4 years. So he only got to enjoy it for that long. And the other kind of strange, tragic event associated with the beginning of this building was that the grand opening was in October of 1929, and it was about a week before the Great Depression started with the crash of the stock market. So it was possibly the worst time you could even imagine opening up a retail store. But kind of the anecdotal story around town is that they stayed in business because they were still embalming plenty of bodies. So.
Back in the 90s, I used to spend the night up here a lot. I'd be working on a project and just sack out up here. We had beds where we could. And one morning, just before daylight, I woke up. I was in a bed in here in the main room, and a ball of light, a little bit bigger than a basketball, floated through, and it wasn't reflecting off the piano that was in there that had a shiny surface. It just floated across the room and then disappeared.
I'm Shane McNair. I'm one of the original renters of this building, which now we're buying it. But this bunk bed was once brand new, long ago, like back in the early 90s probably. And I always expected like a good haunting to come at night. And I mean, I don't know if this is a good haunting or not, but it was something that I could not quite figure out. What it was is I was here one morning waiting for Charlie to arrive, the other guy, and we were going to go get picked up and taken to work. Well, the front door of this place is very loud. It squeaks and rattles and everything. So it's real easy. I would lay on this third bunk, and it was real easy to hear when Charlie was here, and then I could, get up and hang out, and we'd talk until we get picked up. Well, this one morning, I'd come up here and kind of just laid down, and I started hearing footsteps on the carpet, and then it would kind of take a few steps and stop, and take a few more steps and stop. And I thought, okay, well, Charlie got here, and he's walking around and just kind of trying to be quiet so he doesn't wake me up or whatever. But I wasn't asleep, so I was going to let him know I was awake. But I was really trying to figure out, how did he get in that front door without me hearing it, because it's so loud. And at that time, we didn't have the front. There was no coming in through another way. That was it. This door has made this same sound for years because it always sticks, and you have to kick it to get it open. With the squeaks, the rattle, and the windows, I don't sleep that heavy. There's no way he could have come in, which I got down from the bed. He wasn't in here.
There was another night I was sleeping in the other room, and like him, it was probably about, I want to say between 6:30, 7 in the morning. I was expecting my brother to pick me up, and so I was asleep, and I heard it sounded like hard-soled shoes walking across the concrete floor in there. And when it got to where the carpet should be, it kept sounding like concrete on the concrete floor a little bit farther, and then went silent.
So after Ray died, his son Dale, who would inherit the place, was far too young to run it. And so Ray's widow and his brother ended up running it for several years until Dale was old enough to take it over. And he ran it until he was a very old man in 1974. After that, it was abandoned at times. It could be anything from, there's been several businesses. It's been kind of a revolving door until we acquired the portion of it that was the functional mortuary back in 1990. The building has changed a lot since the time it was open as a mercantile and a functioning funeral home. One thing is this sink. We know this was definitely the embalming room. We've had plenty of people that are elderly, they've passed on now, but whenever we first acquired the building, we would be visited by older people that would tell us, yeah, this is where we had grandma's funeral or whatever. And they would all confirm that this was the embalming room. And so there's this gigantic sink that is in no way hooked up to city plumbing anymore, hasn't been for years. We just use it to drain the humidity out of the air conditioner. It's just the air conditioner drain now. But the size of that P-trap, there was a lot of stuff going down into the sewer back then. So the folks with the Arkansas Heritage, the historical people that we went through to have the building placed on the National Register, when they came up and did their survey of it, they were pointing out how the windows, and there's 4 in this very small room, there's 4 windows that lets in a lot of natural light, but that they're quite a bit higher than the rest of the buildings that are in what would have been the funeral chapel, so that they could have the windows open during the summer while they were working on somebody, but that people walking down the alley or whatever wouldn't have a clear view of something they didn't need to be seeing. So that's another design, part of the building.
We're here at Carpenters Mortuary in Gentry, Arkansas, and we have been joined by 3 guests here, Justin and Austin Spurrier, you might recognize from the channel. And over here we have local country music celebrity, Johnny Dale Roberts.
I'm Johnny Roberts. My mother owned a clothing store here in this summer and through the winter of '87 and into '88, I guess. She did consignment clothes and stuff like that. She had the storefront up front, we built a partition wall, and I stayed in the back. There was a TV. I had my He-Man action figures and, my Gray Skull Mountain or whatever. And so I spent a lot of time in the back by myself because she didn't want, a child up front while she was trying to do business or whatever. And so while the renovations were going on and everything, she had us a place to sleep in the back. We both had our own mattress back there. I remember mine being on the floor, but she was probably on an actual bed frame or something. But anyways, she would always want me to, this place kind of freaked her out, so she was always like, sleep with me. I wasn't like a mama's boy that slept with their mom till they were whatever. But I was, at the time I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So, but she was, there was a lot going on in here all the time, all the time. And so she always slept with me in the bed with her and with a flashlight. I didn't know it was a mortuary when we lived in it. I'm sure she had her reasons for not telling me, as a child. But I always remembered it being, having multiple presence in here. And so whenever I was older and I was driving around and I was showing this girl from out of town, I was showing her around and said, my mom used to own this store right here and whatever. And we drove down this side street and you see mortuary over the back door. And I'm like, that's when it all kind of clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, this all does make sense now, And so ever since then I've wanted to come back, but not too long ago, I say not too long ago, I watched a movie where a couple were haunted, and whenever they had got a hold of a priest or whatever, the priest said, it's not the houses that you're living in. The guy was actually haunted, and I strongly believe that something came with me when we left this place. I still believe it. My entire family knows about it, and it's followed me to every single home that I've had, since then. Man, there were constantly noises, and it was basically typical stuff that you hear in these kinds of stories, footsteps every now and then, but a lot of bangs. Like the banging parts, it sounded aggressive because it would hit hard, whatever it was. And the other side, or the middle side of the building, had just old stacked furniture in there. And that's where the bathroom was at, so we would have to walk out of our little section that my mom rented and go next door to use the bathroom. And that's where I felt like an actual negative presence. I didn't feel a negative presence where we stayed. I just felt a presence, or just acknowledged a presence, but that over there scared me, as where this didn't really scare me, but where the furniture stuff was piled up at, where we had to go to the bathroom, and anytime I had to go over there, it was like, get in and out as quick as you can. And if I had to go in there and I was going to be a minute, I would go to the cafe across the street, because I wouldn't sit in there that long to do my business, because I was so scared of whatever. And with the doors closed, and it would be, like I said, it was 24/7. It never stopped. There was always banging. There was always whispering. There was always some kind of racket going on, you know? You know, I don't know if it's more of a, you know, can I drop this back off here, you know, or do the, you know, do they remember me as a child? You know, just it's piqued my curiosity because it used to mess with me, or they used to mess with me so hardcore as a little kid. And I've, you know, supposedly children are hypersensitive to the supernatural and things like that. And yeah, I've always wanted to come back and see what would happen.
So part of the haunted attraction, since the whole thing is themed around a mortuary, so all of the rooms and characters are something that you would expect to find in an old funeral home. Or there's an area that we call the funeral chapel, and the scene is a funeral happening. One of the static characters, this is not an animatronic, it's just a static nun. So it's a female figure sitting in a chair as though she's attending the funeral that's happening. So this is the simple static character that's part of the funeral parlor display. There's like an ongoing funeral. There's a lot of video effects and all kind of stuff that's happening in here, but she's not an animatronic. She doesn't move or anything, and she is fairly sturdy. And this is like old theater seating, actually. You'd think it should be like church pews, but this is what we found, so we like it. So she's in this seat, and you know, her weight is enough to keep her in the seat just fine. And that hand is actually screwed into this coffin. I've never come in and found her unscrewed from that, but I have several times found her almost completely in the floor. And just a few feet away from the nun prop, there's a special effect that tons of haunts have that I was talking about that's called a laser swamp. That laser is plugged into just a simple 6-strip outlet. And the switch on that is not faulty, it's not loose, it's a sturdy switch. You can hear an audible click when it comes on. Turning this off, and it's a really obvious light, is part of the entire process of going through the whole haunt at the end of each night whenever we have the haunt open. And so I know that I've turned it off, but I have definitely come back through and found this effect on. A really obvious green, bright laser.
Children, have you ever met the bogeyman before? No, of course you haven't, for you're much too good, I'm sure. Don't you be afraid of him if he should visit you. He's a great big coward, so I'll tell you what to do.
Before we got started, we all were hearing odd sounds that had us scrambling to find their source. It sounded like a thin, like a tin or a...
Oh, there it was.
Down here.
Yeah.
So it's outside? The second one sounded like it was inside.
Shit, this sounds like...
Yeah.
It's not it, is it?
No, this was out. I'm pretty sure this was outside when I heard it. Yep, right here.
Oh, it's right by the door.
What is it?
Wind's probably pushing something.
It is the door.
Yeah.
There's some kind of sound coming out of that room that way. I've heard it twice now.
That's where I heard the voice.
Yeah. I keep hearing, that's 2 times I've heard that now.
I don't know my way around here, so. Oh, there's a step. Yeah. I'm trying to get my light fixed real quick so I don't. Hello. The hell?
Alright, we are recording. So, you wanted to do an EVP session back there?
Yeah.
Alright, let me grab the EI and set it up back there as well. Set this over here. Turn this on. And then I am going to record. So we are recording. Maybe we go.
Set mine right here.
Okay. All right.
I'm only seeing through the camera right now. I literally can't see anything.
God. I turned it on at the freaking nun. Like,
Oh, we're already in the
blasted
freaking room? Yikes. Yeah, this was the room I was wanting to investigate, because I don't know if Dave already told the story. From what he told us, like, apparently her hand is like, yeah, if you guys can
Nailed?
see that. It's nailed into the coffin, and
But she'll like be out here when they come in sometimes or something.
yeah, they'll find her on the ground.
With her hand still nailed.
Was that?
That was you.
That was me, yeah.
Okay.
Breathing?
It was something, I don't know what.
Okay. Alright.
Alright, we're gonna run a direct link session here. Up on this little mini stage. The nun is literally staring at me right now. And quite a weird feeling up here in the dark.
And is the volume up pretty good on that one, or can we change the volume on that one?
It's all the way up.
Okay. Just try to aim it this way as much as you can.
Hello? Is there anyone here who wants to communicate?
Did you say I do?
I do. Let's start off by getting your names. What is your name?
What?
I'm
Is
walking,
that you?
I'm walking.
Oh, okay.
So I heard the story of the nun apparently falling down. Is that one of you guys moving her? Are you guys pushing her over, messing with her? How is that happening?
Can you give us a sign of your presence? A noise? Tap on something?
There's an orange and gray device over here on the sink. Right there, can you knock that thing off of there?
Is there anyone you want to speak to in this room right now? Someone's pulling my shirt. Someone's pulling my
You get
jacket.
tugged on the bottom?
Huh?
Like tugged like this?
Yeah.
Or not tugged, but
Right
like
on the back.
Just a little.
Uh-huh. What the heck? Who was that?
That's a common thing.
Who was just pulling on my sweatshirt? Whoa.
What is it?
Portal.
Portal.
Portal. Is there some portal here?
That's an interesting word
Yeah.
for it to come through with.
What?
What did it say? Blood or?
Burn or something. Does a portal have anything to do with this room here?
What happened in this spot? Right here where we're standing. What happened here many years ago? Anything? You getting jumpy?
Dude, there's just weird like static on my arm.
If you can hear my voice and you understand what we're saying, can you just make some kind of a weird noise come out of that device?
What?
Whoa. Betty. I was getting ready to say either device would be fine, and it just... Betty.
I did a sweep for EMF throughout the mortuary section without any spikes. But then we noticed something peculiar. So in this area I started getting this EMF hit. I'm in the middle of the room. I don't know what's contributing to it, so it's gotta be coming from that way. No way this is like picking up power lines.
No, not the way to hell in here.
I mean, it's got to be power lines out there because they're right there.
They're way over there where your drone was over by.
Yeah, just across the street right there.
Yeah, not across. They're way too far for that thing to pick it up.
Apparently not.
This would make a hell of an escape room, this whole building. Like trying to figure out all the clues and hidden things. Get what? Can you please finish? Oh, what did it say?
He's back? Wait, have you been here? Is that what you asked? Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Help!
Help. Put the antenna right here. Do you have anything to say to us? Is there a spirit that stays here in this building?
Me.
Just you, or is there more? How many? Can you give me a physical number?
Got that. I don't know what's going on. That's never happened.
What?
Like the tugging.
I see. I get that a lot where they just touch the shirt and it feels like it's moved.
Is someone touching my sweatshirt? Is someone touching my sweatshirt?
Okay, yes. Okay.
As John and I were conducting an EVP session, we both heard what sounded like a female voice. Unfortunately, neither the camera nor the recorder was able to capture it.
That was a voice right when I went, There was a voice right at the same time.
Oh my God, we just did a spirit session in this orbs room. Orb storm.
Orb storm.
Mr. Sheffield, you need to go on a diet.
This So crazy, man. When we used to live here, I swear, dude, there was talking all the time. Just whispers, talking. You could always hear people.
In this building?
In this building.
So you've been in this building?
I've lived in this building.
Okay, see, I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, I lived here whenever I was in 87 and 88.
Oh, okay.
My mom had a clothing store in the front, and I had to stay in the back because kids weren't allowed up front, and, you know, whatever. And so, yeah, I lived here, and it was always like, voices, 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 voices. And that's what my mom was saying today, too, on my way down here. She's like, I was just always hearing voices, you know. They were just whispers, but they, you know, weren't loud enough that you could make out what they were saying.
Right.
But
it was open.
It was just constant.
It was a big open floor plan then, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't have any of this stuff in it. It was the 3 main sections of the building.
Okay. And this was not your bed? Right here?
No.
Okay.
No comment.
No comment. No, that makes it so much better. Like, I didn't know. I feel like that's very important.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if they remembered me, you know.
Okay.
Because I was
What the
I
heck?
always knew.
Hold on.
Like,
Wait. Oh,
That's a car.
did you hear what he
Before
said?
that, what?
That's why he was asking if they remembered him. But do you not remember something said he's back?
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked him.
Oh, so you knew he lived here, though?
I didn't know he lived here. I thought he like
Do
just
you remember
visited or
hearing
something.
him when he said
yeah,
that he's
whenever we were
back?
in the other
Okay.
the nun room or whatever.
Yeah, I see. I missed that memo. Thanks, Dave.
Real professional. So yeah, I always like when I got older and found out that it was a mortuary, I was like, holy fuck, I wasn't crazy the whole time, you know what I mean? And I was always thinking, if I go back in there, like these voices, these whatever, they'll remember me, you know what I mean?
And they did.
Like they
Yeah, it's possible.
they were so much a part of our staying here, and that's ended up being the main reason that we just had to get out of here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, dude, that changes everything. Like, he needs to be holding this. He needs to go to about where do you have like a bedroom area that you can pinpoint?
It's
based off of the ceiling patterns. This is a building, and this is considered a second building that we're in.
right.
So that's 1. This is 2.
Under each one, like 50 foot by 90 foot.
And you were in the first building?
The store was right here in the front.
Okay.
Then back there towards that wall right there was where like we had a petition wall just right around in this area. And then back there was where I'd sit and like watch TV and shit like that. But then right over here into this part is where, like against that wall is where it opened up and our beds were and stuff.
So if we go out into this room and then walk over to the entrance and that little hallway, we might be able to be closer.
Yeah, that little hallway was not there.
So we
used
try
to just
figure
open
that
up
out.
right there.
I want to see if we can find those drains that you were talking about, because that might be a telltale sign. They're surely still there.
Do you remember me? Do you remember us kids playing in here?
He said, "What's up?" or something.
Is that what it says?
Just give them a little time to answer. Sometimes it takes them a minute.
Do you remember when my mother and I lived here?
Residual. Boy.
Residual was on that. What? Residual was on that also.
Oh, you had residual on there? On the Ovilus?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, are you familiar with like residual energies and how that works? I don't know how much you know about paranormal stuff. But
I'm just assuming something that stays there and doesn't go away.
yeah, so the theory behind a residual haunting is that it's not an intelligent haunting, so everything that we do leaves behind like a trace of energy, kind of like a cassette player on repeat. It's no active haunting, but you can still hear the screams of this or that, or the sounds of something that happened so many times. It's just a repetitive motion. I'm wondering, like, some theories say like we leave residuals even when we're still alive. So if you were here and there was something that you did regularly, could be like a clearing of the throat or something, someone that does that so many times can actually haunt themselves in theory, because those sounds continue. And I believe that we can leave residual imprints of our own energy, and maybe they're referring to you, residual boy. Or did you have
That's
an
what I was
imagine-
thinking.
Did you have another boy that you've seen here or felt or?
And my future stepbrother would come here and play with me sometimes. His dad was the one that built the wall that used to be there. But I was telling Dave that I felt like I took something followed me from this place because like every place I've ever lived has had some kind of entity. The house that I bought, I helped build. There's never been tragedy, there's never been a death, there's never been anything, you know? And so I think that like I've been haunted or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only place I could ever think of it coming from would be this place, which was probably abundant with all kinds of... Where the witch would hang.
Whoa!
What was that?
Hop, it just made me hop, bro.
You did, you hopped.
I know.
I thought it was the mask that turned on or something. I'm like, what the heck?
After an hour, we all took a break. We were sent an EVP from a group who had previously investigated here. In their audio, they captured what sounded like the name Pamela. We were also told a story about a woman in town who had killed her newborn baby. Just before Johnny left for the night, I set up the EDI, and for about 20 minutes, nothing happened. But then, we started picking something up.
I'm going to ask again, if you don't mind, please, can you make that blue light turn on one more time? Just one more time. There you go. So, is Pamela a friend of yours?
Is Pamela your baby?
There was a baby that was murdered. Had his head bashed in.
Yeah, they said it was a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was her name? Yokohobi?
Huh?
Remember what her name was?
No idea.
Yogi Hogi.
Baby's name Yogi Mogi.
Was that your baby that had... Did you kill your baby? Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Whoa!
Yeah. I asked if it killed the baby, and it, like, that was some
That was a
harder bits.
Are
Those
you-
are hard.
So
Are
it
you
feels
saying that-
strongly one way or the other.
That's got to be the... Well, I'm not gonna
You
say.
tell me, if you did it, if it was you and you're the one talking to us, light it up much as you can. No, right now, all the way. Come on. Or if it's not that person, and they could just be angry over the situation, you know what I mean? They could just be. All right, now the mic is on. So Austin is doing a sensory deprivation experiment here with the direct link, and this is what he hears. Very loud. And we can also hear it externally as well, so, all right. And he's actually here in this room. Do you even know, have you been told what this room is or was?
No.
Okay, well, I just won't tell him.
Alright, just for real? Alright.
So this was the room where they had the viewings of the bodies. They would come and look through the window here, and that way they wouldn't have to be near the bodies, and they would kind of view them through the window, and they would either be like, "Oh God, it wasn't him," or "Oh my God, my baby," you know, So it's very much a very emotional area. You can imagine this window has probably captured a lot of emotion, energy. captured the energy. All right, Spirit. Now, let's try that again. Can you tell me how many spirits are here with this physical number, please?
Help.
So he is blindfolded now. Spirits, can you try touching his knee?
House.
Can you try touching his knee for me at some time during this experiment?
More.
Alright, spirits. Can you give me your name, please? What is your name?
Christian.
Are you saying that your name is Christian? Or that your faith
Paul.
is Christian? Why are you here?
2. Axe.
Can you tell me, spirits, can you tell me, please, what happened in this room?
More. Watching.
This is the EVP session in the big room. This is John.
And David. So right now, we're running the FLIR thermal imaging. And John, if you want to lead a EVP session, I'm just going to kind of walk around, see
Okay.
what I get here.
Yeah, this is John, and that's Dave over there. We don't mean any harm. We're just here to see what spirits reside in this building. Are there any spirits that would like to speak with us? There's a box setting on that little chair over there. That is what's known as a digital recorder. It will record your voice if you get close to it and speak. Are there any old store customers that used to come in here shopping?
Did your body lay right here in this room?
Hi. Help us. Him.
If there's a message that you've been trying
Sure.
to get out for many years, what is that message?
Good. He's coming.
Who's coming?
Light. Yes, he is.
Who is it? Who is coming?
With the traffic the way it is, maybe we better go inside a little further where it's gonna block out some of that noise, you think?
Whatever.
Creepy motherfucker. He looks so creepy with this thermal. Yeah, let's do that.
The night had an interesting start. Between personal experiences and captured anomalies, it would seem that whoever is here is trying to communicate. And this was just the beginning. Next time on Haunting History, Part 2 of the Carpenters Mortuary investigation.
What was that? Is it you?
No,
I'm serious.
that was you. I thought. I swear.
Are you able to make it go higher? Instead of just, yes, thank you, whoa, thank you, whoa.
definitely special thanks to the folks at Carpenters Mortuary, Johnny Dale Roberts, Justin and Austin Spurrier. Appreciated having them with me on this one. Guys, if you want to see the original, you can go to the Haunting Histories YouTube channel and find the original video, the link to this. Yeah. Oops. Let me remove that. So in all my videos, well, most of the videos, I do try to leave some stuff in there that I just don't point out because I want people to find it and, you know, have their own experience with it. I think it makes watching a lot more fun. Like in this episode, there's a spot with a thermal where you see something moving. It's an anomaly. I'm not saying it's a ghost or anything, but there's an anomaly and of something moving. You just have to go back over and watch it again. But this is part one, guys. Tomorrow night we'll probably do part two. I'm gonna try to do it early if I do. I don't know. I've got my radio show at 8, so if not tomorrow, definitely Wednesday night. I think Wednesday night is probably a good one. Good time to do it. But we were doing this just so you guys know, whoever's didn't catch the beginning. We're doing those watch parties. I like getting people interested in this stuff again. Just kind of getting the stuff back out there, but mainly because we have a new film that we're trying to get the funds raised for, so we could do. If any of you are familiar with the Into the Light movies, the exploration of the spook light phenomenon or a spook light theory, those are movies that Josh Hurd and myself have done, and we are trying to do a third one. And this time we're kind of going bigger. We're bringing some people in. We've got some experiments planned, and we're going to be visiting 2 places from both the films, and it's going to be an amazing. It's going to be an amazing journey, and hopefully, these new theories that we have are going to correlate, and we will be able to prove something and document it in the process. So, go over to Kickstarter.com. Just you can type my name in, or you can type in ITL3 or Spook Lights, 2 words. Should pull it up. I've posted the link in the comments. I will post it again. If you're on my personal page, I've been posting it on my timeline, so you can check it out there. Any contributions are greatly appreciated. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. Well, I mean, they are necessary. Contributions are necessary if you want to get a film funded. Oh God, Facebook's gonna take me down for that. But yeah, guys, it's a huge deal to get this film done. We haven't done anything with it in about 5 years, really. It was the last time we filmed the second one. So definitely want to get Josh back out in the woods, have him experience some Bigfoot activity again. We're gonna try to establish some communications. Little fun fact for you, and I'll restate this whenever we do the watch parties for the Into the Light films here soon. When we were doing the squatching, the night I woke up hearing the hand claps, what actually woke me up was I was hearing talking, and it sounded like a caveman grunt style, like bad Japanese or bad Chinese flick, like that kind of talking. And it wasn't until maybe a year later I realized that what I had heard sounded almost exactly like the Sierra sounds that was captured, I think it was in 1976, where somebody had recorded what he said was Bigfoot's voice, like they were talking. And so we want to go back, check that out, try to establish communication, see what happens. Maybe Josh will get, you know, find his soulmate in Sasquatch. No aliens this time, Josh, if you ever catch this, which I doubt. He's not on Facebook anymore, but you never know. But guys, that is going to be it for me tonight. I'm going to leave you with the little teaser one more time, and then I'm gonna bounce. But appreciate you guys hanging out here and watching the Carpenters Mortuary video. So yeah. The Into the Light films started as a story and became an exploration of the spook light phenomena. In 2017, we started this quest to explore sightings from 3 locations. Although we gathered good information and captured amazing evidence, there were questions that remained. 2019 brought us back with a drive to find answers to some of our remaining questions. Things took a wild turn, and a new theory was born. Now, almost 5 years later, we're back, and there's unfinished business.
Many of you have consistently asked if we would ever do this.
Well, the time is now.
And this time,
And this time, we are not alone.
we have company.
So there you have it, guys. Jump on Kickstarter, check that out, and if you can contribute, awesome. If you can't, please share it. Just share it with all your friends. Email it to your friends, family. They won't mind. Clutter up their email box. Nobody minds. But yeah, thanks for joining me tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. If not, Wednesday night for part 2 of Carpenter's Mortuary. Have a good night.